I'd like to call the Delaware County Commissioners meeting to order. It is Monday, May 15th, 2017. The time is now 9:02. If you can please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I mean, they from my grass.
Denise, can you call the roll, please?
Everywhere.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
Ms. Reagan,
Present.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Brooke. Here.
First, we have public hearing to assign a tax sale certificate to a nonprofit corporation at 3700 South Madison Street.
Jim Mokel, President of the Muncie Visitors Bureau and also President of the Muncie Sports Commission. With me today is Jim Mansfield, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Good morning, Jim Mansfield, Executive Director, Muncie Visitors Bureau, also of the Muncie Sports Commission.
Okay. And also on here is the application for assignment of the tax sale certificate to a nonprofit corporation under the same address. Do we have anybody here that wants to speak against it? I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
How much more grass you have to cut?
About half an acre.
They'll give Bill something to do this summer.
Next, we need approval for minutes for the May 1st meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Move contracts and agreements. Contract for the rain garden at the Delaware County Highway Garage.
Jesse's back there.
I've had a chance to look at this, and I don't see the problem with the agreement.
For 5 years, $1,000 a year.
It's a services agreement for maintaining the rain garden.
I make a motion we approve the agreement.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, under contracts and agreements, we have corporate warranty deed, Whiteley Land Company's second edition, Lot 1, Block 19.
I think this is to the Muncie Sanitary District. This is the land swap that the Sanitary District wants the county to do for the East Washington for West Washington property.
I'll make a motion we approve the agreement.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Move on to ordinances for first reading. Ordinance number 2017-011. Ordinance of Delaware County Board of Commissioners, construction site and post-construction site, stormwater control ordinance.
This is an ordinance that we've been working on with the Stormwater Control Board and the Stormwater Control Officer for construction and post-construction site for stormwater control in the county. This is a revision of a prior ordinance. This was discussed at length at the Stormwater Board meeting back
Couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago, yes. And so it was approved by the Stormwater Board and it's ready for first reading for the commissioners.
I make a motion we introduce ordinance number 2017-011.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to introduce.
I thought that was second reading.
No, it's a first reading because it was just reviewed at the Stormwater Board meeting.
Yeah.
They just passed it on for approval to the commissioners, but this would be the first public reading of it with the commissioners. The Stormwater Board doesn't have the authority to adopt ordinances.
I wish what I could think of the major thing that we had to correct was
We had to put in about violations and fines and do that sort of thing. This will have to be published after second reading because it does have some penalties in it.
thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, we have ordinance number 2017-012, an ordinance for public works projects in Delaware County.
This is an ordinance to just adopt Indiana Code 36-1-12-3, which is a requirement that if the county would like to have its own workforce do projects that are greater than $100,000 but less than $250,000, that there is a procedure which the county has to go through for all public works projects, whether it's this project, whether it's a highway garage or anything else. And this is just to get the county to adopt that statute as part of the public record.
Move the motion with introduce or 2017-12.
I'll second it.
Have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2017-012 in a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Move the resolutions for approval. Resolution number 2017-020, resolution of Board of Commissioners of the County of Delaware, Indiana, making a final determination of the tax sale certificate to be assigned to a nonprofit.
This is for the tax sale certificate to the Visitors Bureau, 3700 South Madison.
Make a motion we approve resolution 2017-020.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Janet, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Resolution 2017-021, we're going to remove it and set a date for our next meeting for a public hearing. Resolution number 2017-022, resolution to assign tax sale certificate from Delaware County to the city of Muncie.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Megan Quirk. I'm one of the city attorneys for the city of Muncie. And what we're doing here is asking for approval of this resolution. The tax sale certificate was actually issued back on February 22nd, 2017, after a public hearing, but we didn't go through to the second step, which is approving the resolution. So we realized the mistake. We're coming back and fixing it and moving forward to get this property at 723 South Liberty through the tax sale process, quieted title, and
Okay.
go from there with that.
Liberty.
No, you're right here.
Oh,
That one right there is the one.
that's the one you table.
Right.
Then I had my numbers down wrong. Excuse me.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution 2017-022.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Move to resolution number 2017-023, resolution of Board of Commissioners of the County of Delaware, Indiana, identifying a tax sale certificate to be assigned to a nonprofit.
Good morning, Commissioners. Janet Kessler, tax sale deputy. Yes, I had a request from a nonprofit for 510 East 7th, and this is the first step in this process, with a public hearing on June 5th.
I'll make a second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, resolution 2017-024, Board of Commissioners of Delaware County, Indiana, approving a statutory resolution and economic development plan of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission and approving order of the Delaware Muncie Metropolitan Planning Commission.
This is a resolution that was adopted by the Redevelopment Commission for Economic Development and the plan was set forth with the Redevelopment Commission and asked for the Commissioner's approval.
I make a motion we approve 2017-024.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. We have resolution number 2017-025, resolution to perform work by the Highway Department.
This is a resolution to adopt some findings pursuant to IC 36-1-12-3. There was a road project, Old Granville Road paving project that was performed by the County Highway Department employees. You're making a finding that the county highway workers and the department has the requisite skill, training, expertise to perform this 3.1 miles of paving along Old Granville Road. And these are the costs as determined by Mr. Jesse pursuant to that statute.
I make a motion we approve the resolution 2017-025, a resolution to perform work by Highway Department.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, we'll move to department heads and elected officials. We have an interlocal agreement between Delaware County and the city of Muncie for Riggin Road. Robert, would you? They were emailed.
Robert Jesse, Delaware County Highway Department. We have been working with the city to agree to furnish all the material for Riggin Road from the circle at Walnut all the way to the bypass. And we've come to an agreement. We just need to get the commissioners to sign off on it.
Okay, so under this agreement, the county will be using its workforce and equipment to lay asphalt.
Yes.
The asphalt will be purchased by the city of Muncie, that's correct?
Yes.
And the city of Muncie will also pay to have
The painting.
Riggin Road striped.
Yes.
Who's doing the design work? Any engineering? Because we got so many drainage issues out there, and I just hate to do it.
That's on the city.
Because if they don't correct it now, now's the perfect time.
I don't think there's an issue with the culverts per se under Riggin. I think it's the ditch lines along the edge of
That's,
the road.
it's the
Which
slope.
that is all.
The water cannot get off.
That's all part of, that's a city's to maintain that.
So you don't know when they might be having that done when you start the
Yes,
job.
on that one.
I just hope you keep on that it's taken care of, because, I mean, I just think it's a waste of money if we don't do it right. I'm glad you're going all the way to the bypass. That's getting bad too.
Well, I make a motion we approve the agreement between the city of Muncie and the county to get Riggin paved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, call the roll, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Are they paving today or working today?
No, they're just getting some prep done.
What?
And if they're getting some prep work done, we'll pay tomorrow.
Okay. When are you gonna be pulling out the chip and seal?
June, somewhere in June.
You're not gonna run 2 crews, just,
We don't have enough people for that.
no. To hire some part-time college help or something.
We'll look into that.
A lot of debrushing out there needs to be done. Thank you, Robert.
Are there any other department heads that would like to come up and speak?
Jason, why don't we let Jason come up and stress the cyber attack that happened this weekend? How we can't stress it enough to not open any emails.
Anybody's, Jason Rogers, Emergency Management Director. What Commissioner Reagan's talking about is the significant threat of the cyber attacks that we've already seen. I know that ransomware has been an issue in Madison County. We have paid some money to fight against that here, and that's essentially what she's talking about that's made national news. So the gist of it is, if you don't know who's sending you the email, delete it. It will, once you let it into the domain, they will take control of all your computers. So I know Jim Fluke's crew's done a pretty good job on educating everybody, and for those in attendance and anybody watching, it is certainly a threat in not only in the government computers, but right now they're starting to, or they have been for the last year, attacking private industry and anybody that they can basically lock up and then hold ransom for a substantial amount of money. So be very careful what you open on your browsers, your personal stuff. They're even reaching to home computers, and they want $1,000 if they lock your home computer up. So
I heard over the weekend it really hit the hospitals, Ben.
hospitals and financial institutions are being targeted. Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Anything else?
And I think we're having an IT meeting about that next week.
Yeah, please say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to say something real quick. There's an article in the paper this weekend that talked about the agreement between the city of Muncie and the county and the 911 center. I want to make something very clear with that. The county has no desire to separate the 911 center with the city of Muncie. And the city of Muncie officials know that. Our desire is to change the 911 board only, to put it back in the hands of the individuals who actually use the 911 system, as far as the sheriff, Muncie Police Chief, Muncie Fire Chief, Jason Rogers, our EMS and EMA people, along with town marshals and town fire chiefs, excluding us, of course. So I just want to make it clear, it was the article, I don't think it was well written, but I can explain how we have requested the board be made up, and again, it's just putting it back into the hands of the individuals that use it. So Delaware County Commissioners have no desire to split that 911 dispatch center up, regardless of what you may hear or have been told.
And I have had several conversations with the president of the 911 board in the direction that the commissioners would like to see the 911 board go in. We would like to see politics removed from the 911 board. I've sat on the 911 board for a year. I know Sherry sat on it for a year. They just really started meeting maybe about 6-8 months ago. Prior to that, I would show up to the meetings and we would not have a quorum, enough people to hold a meeting. As a law enforcement officer, the 911 board, well, the 911 center is very important to myself, my police officers, because that is our lifeline, that is our communication. Without the good workers that we do have up there, my life would be in jeopardy. I have been privy to conversations in the past concerning directors and everything else. At one point in time, I thought we had a very good director in Sandy Campbell. But me personally, I believe Sandy was removed for political reasons at one time. This is something that I do not want to see. I don't want to see directors being removed for political reasons. Mr. Singleton, I believe, and from what I hear, he's doing a great job up there. You know, he has 100% of my support.
And he got it.
I would also, like for the board and the directors to focus more on training on a lot of our dispatchers, which I believe in the past the training was not what it should have been, and for that I blame the previous director between Mr. Singleton and also Sandy Campbell, because I know Sandy Campbell did a great job in getting people trained, and I also see that Mr. Singleton is getting involved with the staff up there and making sure that they get trained. These are the things that I want to see. There was also a thing in there concerning the equipment. The equipment was actually paid for by the Delaware County Commissioners. It was paid for out of edit funds. It was also paid out of EMS funds. Mr. Quackenbush, he is also here, and he's going to speak on, back when he was a commissioner, how these items was paid for. The county actually paid for all the equipment, and the last update we had when we requested a portion of it being paid by the city, we were denied, and we paid for the $1.2 million in the upgrades out of edit funds. So the equipment, if anybody wants to know why we believe the equipment is ours, that's because we paid for it. That's the reason why we believe the equipment is ours. And I am a true believer that if we pay for something, it's ours. You know, we don't just give stuff away for free.
Thank you.
And I'm not done yet,
Well,
Sherry.
that's, what? I thought,
Because like I'm telling you, I was,
I know, you got a lot to say.
when this board come together, I was privy to, like I said, a lot of conversations, and some of the conversations was with the mayor and some of the other people, and I will not bring those conversations out at this point. All I'm saying is I want to see the political ramifications and stuff removed from the 911 board, and you know, it was also stated in there that we give edit monies to the small towns and everything else. Yes, we do. We give edit money to the small towns. We help the small towns. We help the small communities as much as we can, but we do not pay the small towns marshals. We do not pay the small town fire chiefs. We do not pay them, so we cannot go in and remove them from their positions if they don't do whatever. But there are board members that sit under the mayor's thumb that he could remove also. So the comment that he made in the newspaper about us giving edit funds, I just don't know why he said that.
Actually, the small towns have already pledged their edit funds to the county, and they made an agreement years ago that the edit funds are the counties, and the county has an obligation to share those edit funds with the small towns.
Mm-hmm. But that is, we do not want to, like Commissioner Henry said, we do not want to separate. We want to make it better. That's what we're looking at. We want to make this better. Time for a fire alarm. But that's where we're at, and that's where we stand. Mr. Singleton, like we said, we're behind you 100%.
Did a good job.
We think
Appreciate you.
you're doing perfect, but like I said,
Wonderful.
there was at one time that I'd go up there, I could go up there several times a day and never see a director inside that building. And that's what I want to get away from. But like I'm telling you, you got 100% from me and the other commissioners. You know, and I applaud you for everything that you have done since you came in. So, does anybody else have anything?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well said. I'd like to kind of give a story. When I became a commissioner, and I was a rookie commissioner that year of 2013, I was trying to visit all 25 or 26 boards that we appoint to, and just to find out how they work, good attendance, you know, policies. And I never will forget when I went to one of their meetings, the 911 board meeting up at City Hall. For one, it's a nice room, but the parking's so bad at City Hall, so I'm looking forward that if we could get this done, we can move the meetings over to the public access.
And that's
at
one of the things we'd
911.
like to do.
But I was asking the president if they sign off on the director's payroll, and they said no. So that kind of got me. But I didn't ask for minutes or anything, but and then after you served, I served a year or so. So it's just something new that we want to try around here, that it's the public servants that use the system are going to be accountable.
And actually, like you said, I do believe that the meeting should be at the 911 center, for the simple fact is we have the 911 director that comes to the meetings, and I believe he should be on site even when we're having the meetings, just in case some kind of crisis or something comes up. He is actually there, and I think at times it would be good for some of the dispatchers to see some of their law enforcement up there, you know, to maybe they might come out and want to have questions for us also. You know, but I believe if it's a 911 board, it should be at the 911 center, so.
I agree. And Paul, I'm sorry I've not been over to visit with you since you've been there, but hearing a lot of nice things, and we appreciate that.
I would encourage anybody on.
Would you like to come forward?
Paul Singleton, 911 Director. I would encourage anyone who hasn't been to the 911 center, from the commissioners and from the county council and from the general public, that just wants to stop by and see what we have as far as the building. We have a beautiful building. See what we do. We have some great dispatchers. Biggest issue is keeping people there. I think that's historically been a struggle. It's just one of those jobs where
It's very stressful.
it's stressful, and then sometimes it's a entry level point for someone who wants to go on to a different public safety job. So, but I would encourage you to come by, public council, commissioners, and just see what we do and get to know our folks, and then they will get a chance to get to know you too.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
I think Ms. President Quackenbush
Yep.
like that.
My name's Ron Quakenbush, and I live at 518 South Bridgewater in Yorktown. I'm also representing the county council. This article, and I know Mr. Royston sometimes doesn't have enough space to really tell a story. They call them journalists, but sometimes they're just kind of giving it a shot to get it in the paper. But the article bothered me. I lost some sleep over it. I woke up in the morning about 2 o'clock thinking about communications, and then about 5:30 I woke up and I gave the most eloquent speech you've ever heard. But I won't put that one on you this morning, but it was a good speech. And my concerns go clear back to where and James, I thank you for the recognition. I was a commissioner when all this came about, and we worked very cooperatively with the city. We traveled to Hamilton, Ohio to look at a state-of-the-art communications center, one that had been in operation since 1946. We went to Peoria, Illinois, and looked at a couple of communication centers over there. The city drove the van. The city was, and the mayor and the whole bunch of us went on these trips. We tried to put together a system that would really work. Then as a councilman, and James was with me at the same time, the commissioners chose to move. The county bought the building from the library. The county put the underground cable in, all the equipment. Recently, you signed a contract to identify and make sure that cable was always protected. So the county has done that, representing the entire community of Muncie and all the towns, the unincorporated areas. And so it's kind of the commissioner's baby from way back when it first started. And the original agreement was that the city and the county would hire the director at that board level, and the rest of the operation would somewhat operate under the county. But in the original agreement, there would be city employees at the dispatch units. And at the very last minute, that was changed. And I wasn't on the Board of Commissioners at that time. That was 1989. And that was changed because of fringe benefits and all of that. So this goes way back. But the original 911 center was built with a $350,000 grant from the federal government. And I was involved in applying for that grant, along with the civil defense director at the time. That's how far back. So there's also a 6-inch well in the ground over there that was required of us to put in to receive that grant over in the public safety building over there. So anyway, I just wanted to support the commissioners. I have one concern as a council member, and that is that by completely taking elected officials off of that board, and especially a council member, there still needs to be communications. Even if there's a liaison member from the council appointed to that board that's non-voting, so that the council in the future will be aware, because the toughest thing, and you know it, James, as much as anybody, is the surprises you get as a council. And we don't like it when boards commit, even we don't like it when commissioners commit.
Well, it'll be an open meeting, so I mean, a
Well, I
council member
understand.
is
Yeah, I
allowed to
understand.
come in and sit down and listen to everything. You know, we just believe that a board in the city will have representation, that will have their police chief, that will have their fire chief.
Right.
We are looking at the sheriff, which will be the only elected official, a small town marshal, a volunteer fire chief, and the EMS, EMA director is what we are looking at. They're all public safety officials. To me, they would know and work together more than what a lot of people would, well, public officials would with the center. They would know more what they need than, because like I said, I've sat on those boards and I've heard council members, well, I don't know what they do there. I don't have a clue what they do. People like that don't have a clue what they do shouldn't be sitting on that board. Personally, is the way I look at it. You know, and the way the board would, to me, the way the board would be made up would be perfect. I think Mr. Singleton could work with them a lot better than what he could a public official, because we all know how some public officials get.
Well, that's why I'm making these comments, is
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna be there forever, and one of the key things that I think we have right now, more than we've had in a long time, is communication between the commissioners and the council. And the board you're describing is very similar to what the original board was. The board we have now, if you'll remember, was a result of court action.
Right.
But the original board, and we used to meet out at EMS out on 12th Street, and even before 12th Street, it was a lot more people that's on the board now, I'll put it that way.
Right.
But it was all people from the services.
Right.
And I don't remember how many elected officials, not very many.
There would be an executive oversight committee of that board.
Okay.
That committee would be made up of a mayor, a commissioner, a council person for the county, and a city council.
Oh, I like
person.
that. That's the first
Yeah.
I've heard of
I-
that. Like I said, Royston can't get all that
Yeah,
stuff.
there is an oversight committee that's
Well, that was
included in
left
that.
out completely. John, do you have the duties of that committee? Well, was it oversight? We were just.
The oversight committee would,
Budget.
the 911 board would bring the budgets to the oversight committee
Right.
Which will look over the budgets.
Oh, that's great. That's
for
great.
approval. The oversight committee was supposed to meet once a quarter, go through the 911 board meeting minutes. There was a few different,
Was there 5 of them on that? Was that council member?
there was
Those two council members.
city council, county commissioner, and mayor.
This-
Four.
One more little thing I'd like to put in Mr. Singleton's hat. He's the first department head that used our new hiring ordinance, and I thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Ron.
Anybody have anything else? Well, we'll move on down to payment of claims in the amount of $1,576,032.46.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second, payment and claims. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Do we have any questions, anything from the public?
Just one thing to clarify, Commissioner, for the record. Resolution 2017-20, the tax sale certificate to 3700 South Madison, that's going to the Muncie Sports Commission, not the Visitors Bureau. Okay? The resolution itself says Sports Commission, but I think the approval was for the Visitors Bureau, so
Okay.
just for a point of clarification.
That's fine.
Well, if we have nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to recess.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.